Hey everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Krebsy Crypto here, and yes, I am back with another video here. I really haven't gone anywhere, I just haven't been uploading. I still been here mining, doing my own thing. Well, kind of the market crash has been going on, but of course you're probably familiar with what's going on with ZEC and all this other coins, the privacy coin, pump, and all that stuff. But that's besides the point. We'll kind of catch up and I'll go over everything I'm running in my mining room now, because as you can tell, my GPU rigs are off because there is just nothing profitable for GPU mining, nothing really good out there. I mean, there's good projects and stuff, but right now it's just not worth like mining, if depending on your hydro price and everything like that. But yeah, so currently the GPU rigs are off and we got the ASICs and CPUs on. But stay tuned and we'll go over all this in the video today. So we'll go over here to start off. Obviously, as we know, since Zcash or ZEC has been pumping and going crazy, I had to pull out the old Z9 Mini here. Had to get that back and going. So I had to get a couple new Z9 Minis. I have another one coming as well. And I want to get an Insulin A9. I forget the exact model of it, but those run at like 660 watts for 50 kilohash on ZEC, I believe it is. These ones run about 10 kilosol, and they consume only about 300 watts. So nothing too bad. They're all profitable right now, so nothing wrong with running a Zcash miner. Whether you believe the whole pump, or if you're actually just kind of in it just for the money, or whatever the scenario is, I definitely just kind of hop on whatever is a little bit profitable. All these use cases and things like that have not been prominent, but it seems like we're kind of going back to that old cycle, especially with quantum computers and all this stuff that's coming out 2026 to 2028. I feel like that has to do with the recent crash of crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum especially, because a lot of these quantum computers are able to go ahead and crack the seed phrase to the Bitcoin wallets, Ethereum wallets, and some others. The good thing about Zcash is everything is private. So obviously you have the choice to keep things visible or keep things private. That's how they're able to get around it and get on exchanges. Compared to Monero, which is what I'm mining on my CPUs here, these might not be mining so profitable, but I still just support the privacy movement and everything. With XMR, it's a little different because theirs is automatically all private and secured. So exchanges don't like to list that, whereas that gives that option, so that way they can kind of bypass that whole listing on exchanges and things of the sort. So yeah, these two here are doing Monero, XMR, whatever you want to call it. And then I got my one L3 up and running here. I have another L3. It's just kind of in parts right there. I have that sitting there. I have my buddy sending me out another L3 just because he has so many. And then, like I said, getting another Z9 Mini. So I'm kind of just building up because, like, sometimes with crypto, I'm not saying Bitcoin or anything's over. Don't listen to me. I'm just speculating. But there's always a shift. And with the way the world's going, especially with privacy, and they want this digital ID movement across countries, they want access to everything. Not like they already don't, but with this whole digital wallet, digital movement, everything they're doing, they're going to be able to do things that are beyond their power with banking and all that. So I feel like with Zcash, this is going to kind of eliminate them knowing what you have and what you're holding. I know people are buying it on exchanges and stuff, and I don't recommend that because then it's still kind of traceable back to where your origins, you bought it, your account, your ID, etc., etc. That's why I just mine it and store it and forget about it, because in that way there is no paper trail at all. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of part of the movement, why we're seeing privacy kind of take off, because the governments are restricting a lot of cryptocurrency, they're restricting a lot of cash, they're restricting a lot of things. But now that you have governments, banks, countries, all these different people buying and controlling it, it's really lost its purpose, in my opinion. Again, I'm not saying it's over, because it is a store of value like Bitcoin and others, but I do feel like that this could definitely start the transition and the flip to some of these other projects and coins and stuff like that. Sorry for my rants there, but I just kind of wanted to go over it. But yeah, right now, like I said, this uses 300 watts. This is running 660 watts. I have them running on HiveOS, but it does not come up with the power consumption. I'm assuming around 75 to 85 watts for each of these. This one has, I believe it's a 12 core, 6 thread or something like that. I'll show you my HiveOS and all that. This one's just a basic quad core. So these are nothing crazy or intense, but it is still better than just running these GPU miners and just totally losing money and everything like that. It is winter time here, or will be winter time. So the daytime kind of gets around 5 degrees Celsius, and then at nighttime it gets -5, -10 degrees Celsius. So obviously these things stay really cool. I turn the fan down so it's not so loud. And as you see, I kind of have a vent system here hooked up for my ASIC. So it's pulling in all that cold winter air. It's running it through its system here. Let that focus. And then it's just pumping out the warm air to kind of heat up my apartment a little bit. So it's just a little extra heat. I'm just running it because I just like Litecoin. I think that's going to be one that kind of runs next in my opinion, because they do have a privacy overlay that a lot of people don't know about with their updates and stuff like that. That can be for a whole nother video. And then over here I have my Varus coin, my phones and tablets mining Varus coin. So as we see here, try to get that focused. It's nothing crazy. These are making like pennies a day. It's just, why not just have the phones running and have these up and mining instead of just having them sit in a drawer and literally not do anything at all, because those barely take anything when it comes to hydro and stuff. But yeah, all in all, obviously it's not as noisy considering I have 1, 2, 3, and I think I have another GPU rig hiding somewhere. I got 3 or 4 rigs that are normally on, but again, I do have older cards. So these are the P106-100. I got 9 of them on there. I have a mix of P106-100s and 1660s on that one, and then RX 580 8GB. So they are older tech, so a lot of coins are not mineable with some of these anymore compared to what they used to be. So, and especially in winter time, I just decided to flip to the ASICs and CPUs and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll be getting more in, so that way we can kind of fill it up a little more in here, and then eventually put some out and probably in my living room. But I'm going to show you just one more CPU rig I have running here, and then after that we'll jump over to my HiveOS. So out in my living room here, we got another one mining Monero. This one's almost getting 2 kilohash. Like I said, people are going to say, oh, it's not profitable, blah, 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 blah. Well, a lot of these for me are, I only pay like 7 cents for hydro, so it's nothing crazy, 7 cents a kilowatt. So a lot of these are only running at like, you know, max 100 watts for some of these CPUs. So really it's not much for me. I'm going to be looking into getting some AMD ones, because I know the AMD Ryzen like 7s and 5s and stuff are pretty decent when it comes to Monero and stuff like that, and just CPU mining in general. So I will be looking into those to replace these Intel ones, or just kind of add them in as well. And then I had my solo Litecoin rigs going down here. This gets like 2 or 3 mega hash, all these little ones. It's just kind of a lottery mining I do, but it's been having issues. But other than that, yeah, I got my CPU rigs, my ASICs going, and obviously everyone's going to have their own opinion on what to run and how to run and what coin to mine. But now we will jump over to my computer and we'll take a quick peek at HiveOS, so you can see the proper power consumptions for everything. Like I said, the CPUs don't show, so if there's a way to fix that, or if there's something that I'm doing wrong, just let me know and I'll be able to go in and change that. But yeah, I believe I've covered all my rigs here, so now we'll jump to my computer. Alright, so now we're over on my computer here, and as you see, here's my HiveOS farm and setup here. I got my ASIC farm and then my GPU and CPU farm. So first we'll check out the ASICs here. So if we click on that, currently I don't have to pay per day for this. I just run the Z9 Mini and the L3, and they're both free to run with HiveOS, so that way you can go ahead and monitor it. But as we see here, this is the Z9 Mini. So temps are pretty good, pretty cool. 5441, 5541, 5441. Like I said, it's that nice cool winter air. And right now it is taking 300 watts. As you could tell, it said that kind of right here, 300 watts. And then here's my L3. It looks like it's doing more than 660 for some reason. I don't know if some of the tuning fell out or not. But as we see, I get 502 mega hash with the L3 here. So obviously you can open up and go to the actual antminer GUI and all that. But I just like using HiveOS because I got my other rigs and everything all built in there. But as you see, these temps aren't bad either. That's the one I have with the whole piping setup and everything. So if we go back here, as we see, this one I forgot to mention is 10.4 to 11 kilosouls, but you can get a special firmware, and I have it, but it seems to kind of bug out with my ASIC. You can go ahead and tune it so it runs about 15 kilosol. I believe you need to tune it to like, was it 641 or 650 frequency or something like that. You can always start out by doing like 550, 540. That usually puts it up, but you need a certain firmware. So if you guys want that, just comment below and I can give you guys the firmware that you do need in order to overclock a Z9 Mini if you are interested. And then the L3 is already overclocked with HiveOS firmware. So like I said, 660 watts at 500 mega hash. Of course, it's not bringing crazy money or anything, but like I said, I just prefer to run the ASICs when it comes to winter time and stuff, and just with how the market's doing overall. And then if we go back, here's my GPU and CPU farm. So as you see, these are my GPU rigs that I have off and everything. So as we see, I just have my two CPU rigs. I have my other one, but it's on Windows out in the living room. But as we see, this is my server one. Gets about 2.3 kilohash, running all these cores and everything. Of course, it's not an up-to-date one. It's just E5 2620. So it's very outdated to say the least, but it's just something to run, something to, have going. Because with my GPU rigs, when I had them running, I had them GPU mining and then as well CPU mining Monero because I already had the GPU rigs running, so you might as well just have the CPUs going as well. And you can do, I'll show you quickly here. I don't know if I still have it set up. Where do we have it? So as we see here, for example, I have like Zealous, because that's another good one to go ahead and mine on GPU. I had Zealous and XMR. So since the GPUs are mining Zealous, I'm also just run the CPU on XMR and just kind of build a little wallet of that. But now we'll go back here and actually check out the CPU rigs. Here's my other one at 1.4 kilohash. It's running about 61 degrees. It's only 4 cores. And then my other one out in the living room is 4 cores. Again, it's just on Windows, so it's not set up to go ahead and be viewed on here. I might switch that eventually just to have it all in one place. So in total, I get 3.79 kilohash just with these two. Nothing crazy, I know. The AMD ones and stuff like the Ryzens, they'll get 10, 12, 15 kilohash. So that's why I do want to switch to that, since kind of CPU mining is becoming a thing again compared to GPU mining right now. So overall, not a bad setup. Just my ASICs alone, I'm only pulling about 996 watts. And then my CPUs, unfortunately, I just don't know because HiveOS doesn't pull it up, and I don't bother kind of looking in that deep. Like I said, my hydro rate's pretty cheap, so regardless, I'm kind of making some profit or just a little bit of money. But again, if I'm not, it's all right. It's just kind of hard in this market. I want to kind of focus on Zcash mining rigs if it is gonna stick around and stuff, just like my theory or thesis, if you will. So eventually I might have more of those, some more Z9 minis, some insulins, and some other ones. But for now, yeah, this is my current setup. I might flick on a GPU rig just to kind of solo mine Vertcoin or something. And then I usually just convert my blocks over to Litecoin or something of the sort. But yeah, I just kind of want to give you guys a quick update on my mining and my setup to let you guys know I'm still here and stuff. I just really haven't been changing up coins and getting new stuff right now. So that's why I really haven't been posting videos. When I get my new Z9 Mini, I'll post a follow-up with that. And same with my other package that has a mining rig and some other stuff that I want to go through. But I kind of want to get back to posting. I'm just not sure exactly if I should stick with my tutorials or just bring you guys news, or you know what I mean? It's just kind of tough in this market because a lot of these new coins aren't really anything special. All the technology is already out there. It's just finding the right ones to kind of go about. For example, you know what I mean? So like how ZEC or Zcash is like a privacy layer that's like Bitcoin, but it's private. So like there's something to go after, right? And then if you have like GPU mining, you can go on like mining pool stats, and there's just constant like new coins and stuff like that. So, but a lot of the new coins, like a lot of these that are out here now, they kind of have already, there's other coins that have better tech or the same tech or something of the sort, you know what I mean? I never really made a video on Bitcoin too, even though it was a popular one. I just didn't believe it really had anything different and it was going to bring actual value or anything other than the fact of don't miss out on it because it's just like Bitcoin, but there's no proper use or anything like that. But overall, this is kind of where I've been at, you know what I mean? It's really been nothing crazy, nothing of the sort. But yeah, overall, I just kind of wanted to follow up on some stuff here and just kind of explain to you guys what I'm doing, what my plan is, what I'm mining, you know, and just an update on the overall market and everything. Nowadays, a lot of people tend to buy instead of mine, so you might actually have better odds when it comes to mining for at least Zcash, where Bitcoin is kind of not profitable anywhere. You have big mining companies that are slowly dropping out of mining as well for Bitcoin and switching their power to other stuff. But again, before I start rambling on, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe button, as it lets me know you're enjoying my content. But I hope you all have an amazing day, and this is ZEC Crypto signing out.